Hey everyone, this is Kenny Coins with Marathon Money. I'm with Matt Casella from Richtech Robotics. For you guys who blew my phone up this morning about questions you guys wanted me to ask, I got the president of the company here, and I know I read a few things about you on your website. You've been doing this you've been in this type of industry. You have business experience. I had 2 decades worth of business experience and strategy, and pretty much how long you been in the robotic space?
Yeah, so I kind of started my career out in finance and then transitioned into the hospitality space with a restaurant company a number of years ago, 14, 15 years ago. And then it was kind of through the work with that restaurant company and subsequent companies that we really started to get into the automation space and restaurant, specifically food and beverage automation. And so for me personally, on my journey, that's how I came across Wayne and Michael Wong, who are the brothers and founders and remain CEO and CFO respectively of Richtech Robotics. And so I met up with them probably right about 2 years ago at this point, and then came on board about a year and a half ago as the president of the company. So it really was, for me, it was kind of everything makes sense now that I look at it and think about how the experience in the finance, in the hospitality side, and now into automation and robotics. I was lucky to meet up with Wayne and Michael, years of experience in technology and automation that they are really bringing to the market, and combining kind of my experience with their expertise in this space really was something that made a lot of sense to the three of us, and so that's why why I joined the company when I did.
So I love all that because it shows to me, as somebody who's looking from an outside standpoint as an investor, robotics is becoming a service. They're here to serve you. That's pretty much it. It is hospitality space. That's really the cut and dry of it. And would I be correct by saying that you have more experience with robotics than I do?
You're exactly right, and that's really how we look at robots at Richtech Robotics, right? Robots are here to automate the tasks and responsibilities that kind of keep humans away from each other, right? The things that are mundane and repetitive that robotics do better than humans, right? That we can offset and put those tasks and that responsibility on the robotics and allow people, specifically hospitality providers who are our customers, to deploy their human capital in a more efficient way, right? Really use their human capital on higher value add tasks.
So the reason why I asked that question, because of your background in hospitality and working in the restaurant industry, you kind of can use your skills to be able to, let's say, you know, make the robotists know what they need to serve certain type of people. I know I was watching a few videos and doing my own research on this company, and I know you guys got it in car dealerships like Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep. I know you guys got it in a few like liquor stores for like wine tasting, hospitals, and like what like with your skills, with your skills in hospitality, are you also on the sales side as well?
So I interface with all of our customers at one point or another, right? To try to make sure that they understand that we understand what they're looking for. I think hospitality has kind of been the final frontier in a lot of respects for robotics and for automation for a variety of factors. One of those is that, hospitality providers are really concerned and focused on the experience that they're providing their guests, right? At the end of the day, that's what hospitality is. It's about an experience that you're providing for your guests. And I think the reason that robotics has maybe lagged in this space is that those operators want to maintain tight control of how they can express that experience and differentiate themselves. And it's a little interesting because when you think about robotics, you think about repetitive, the same thing over and over and over again. And nobody wants to live in a world where every restaurant you go to is the exact same experience, serving the exact same food, et cetera, right? We all want the variety and the spice of life, and we want to choose different hotels to go to, right? Or in different restaurants to eat at, because we want to have those different types of experiences. So that's really been very interesting to find now that we're in a space through a variety of things, no AI included, certainly, that we're gonna be able to use robotics, but still provide that differentiated experience across a variety of operators through all of our customers. So that's really where we're starting to see a lot more appetite that is coming to coming to us from our customers, whether it's in the food and beverage space or in a variety of other industries where where they're starting to really take hold of the automation capability that's available to them.
Well, we're talking about industries. What industry do you see? What sector industries that you see that Rich Tech Robotics is like strong in, that you guys can say like in 2 or 3 years or even a year or 12 months that you guys are going to be dominant in that sector right now, that you guys can see incoming cash flow or incoming gross margins from?
Yeah, well, as you and I discussed a little earlier, we are in a bit of a quiet period and can't get too specific on any of that. But what I will say is that we're very excited about the breadth of industries that we're able to serve now. I think we remain focused in the hospitality and service sectors. That's kind of what we feel like we do best and where our niche is. I think when we think about our products and our pipelines, we really focus more on the types of robots that we're deploying, and there's all sorts of different applications for each of those, right? So the biggest and the most robust for us is in the AMR space, right? The autonomous mobile robots. That is an area where whether you're in restaurants or hotels or hospitals, as you mentioned, or even automotive service floors now, where delivery of product, right, is something that can be automated. And now what we're seeing and where we're focused and why it matters to us is that it's the types of robots that are able to move amongst people, right? So robots that are able to navigate the hallways that either hospital patients are walking up and down or walk around an automotive service floor where technicians are busy repairing cars, or clearly walking around navigating a very busy restaurant floor where you have guests up and down and kids running around. And so you can have robots that can safely navigate these spaces to really provide that extra service. And then it allows for, whether it's the servers to spend more time on that dining room floor as opposed to running back and forth to the kitchen, or a mechanic to spend more time working on a car as opposed to running back and forth to the stock room to grab parts, or nurses, right, in a hospital, so that they can stay focused on the patient care and not on retrieving goods to move them around the hospital. So it's really, to us, that is a very strong segment that we're going to continue to remain highly focused on, while continuing to also bring to market really exciting food and beverage automation robotics that we've been working on and are very excited about.
Now, I don't know if I can bring this up because I know you guys are in a quiet period, but I do want to talk about some of your like product lines, like the Atom, the arm worker robots, the cleaning robots, the Dusty,
Yep.
and like from your customer base, what are you seeing like it's like in a demand, like people are like currently like buying more than
So
these?
I think what you're I think kind of what I just was alluding to, that really in that delivery space, that AMR space. So that includes things like our Titan or our Medbot or our Maitre D Plus, really kind of focused in that AMR delivery space. That is one where you really see strong appetite, and I think the pipeline there is long and robust. There's really starting to be good appetite for our food and beverage robots, right? Which Atom is kind of the headliner of. We also introduced a new a new robot called Scorpion that is out there. Both of those are focused in the beverage market. So we're starting to see, or we've seen some very, unique and exciting applications for that. Specifically, Atom. This was installed down at Globe Life Field in Texas, where the Texas Rangers play. And it was just in time for the All-Star game this past baseball season. So that was an exciting one. So starting to see some more use cases for our food and beverage line, Atom, Scorpion, and Ace Walk. So a couple of different products that really can be used in that space, coupled with that AMR line that I think is very robust. And then we continue to see some demand for the cleaning robots, right? Our line of Dusty products. So for us, it makes sense to be focused in this hospitality and service sector and surround that sector with all of the robotic and automation solutions that they can use, because these are the customers that are going to start to be picking and choosing how they're going to automate their businesses, right? There's, as I mentioned before, nobody wants to be in a ubiquitous state where there's just everything's the same, right? But operators of these businesses are going to start to pick and choose what makes sense for them and how they can incorporate robotics and automation into their businesses. So we want to be at Richtech Robotics. We want to be the premier #1 provider of those solutions.
So I got a few questions for you. The first one, you said a lot of things here. So the first one I want to address is like the restaurant. Are you feel like the owners are adapting really well to these? Like a robotic coming into the restaurant and they're feeling comfortable that it's there, that they're willing to order more, or like the big chain restaurants, like restaurants that have multiple 5 or 6 different restaurants and they're willing to put them all in all 5 or 6. Are you seeing that adaptability coming along?
So as we sit kind of here with a variety of different products, right? There's some, when we talk about the AMR and the delivery, that one people are ready for, right? People want to get as many of those as they can, right? So we're trying to move those. When you talk about food and beverage, things like Atom, they're suited for those types of restaurant chains where they have multiple outlets, right? Because what do robotics do better than anything, right? Consistency, repeatability. So when customers start to see and believe, and owners and operators start to really understand the power that they have by implementing robotics, right? That their menu will be consistent across every restaurant that they could ever imagine putting up, and that you can roll those out very quickly, right? And that you can trust that any new menu changes can be that new recipe instructions can be deployed effectively and at scale, right? I mean, these are things that really, when you talk about chain restaurants, that they spend a lot of time and energy and effort with their training programs to be able to deploy this stuff. And then, sometimes even the best training programs, because of the turnover that you see in a lot of these types of restaurants, are really hard to manage, because you spend a lot of time and effort training somebody, and then more often than not, you have somebody new to train here in the next 6 weeks to 2 months.
100%.
Right?
The cost of I try to tell people the cost of training somebody is actually pretty expensive. A lot of people are not aware that when somebody quit or even let's just go as far as like, it's better to say, even if they get fired, like, or they get let go, like the cost to find somebody, train them, because technically you're having somebody else train them. So you work in an environment, you're actually using money you're already paying somebody else to train somebody else, which is taking money away in essential from you making money. It's actually a real cost. People don't realize it.
You're exactly right. When you start to look at the labor costs to run a lot of these restaurants, right? Some, rule of thumb, people talk about a third of 35% labor costs. Well, that actually starts to be dramatically inflated when you start to roll in everything else that goes into that. Most, not least of which is the training that you just mentioned, right? The training and the turnover, and really what that true cost of labor really rises up into the 40% for a lot of these restaurant businesses. And it's tough, because margins in that space are thin, right? And they have to be managed very tightly. And this gives another tool for the operators of these businesses to start to use to figure out how they're going to streamline and improve their operations going forward.
I want to use your expertise, what you've been doing the last few years in Richtech Robotics. And I don't know if you ever heard of the adaption bell curve, where like it's like early adapters, you know what I mean? Oh, innovators, early adapter, early majority and late majority and laggers. Where do you feel like the world is at with your product that you're trying to
We're
push?
still early. We're still early, and and to me, that's the most exciting part of this all, right? That we're still early. People, people want things to have happened yesterday. Everybody does, right? But we've seen through the variety of customers that we've dealt with, and through looking at all of our opportunities, that we're still early, and that's okay because it's coming quickly, right? It feels like it's coming quicker and quicker, and you see there's more people that I talk to today who are telling me about the experiences that they've had with robotics, and not just even going back 12 months. It was about, oh wow, that's going to be cool when, right? Now it's, oh well, I was just in a restaurant the other week and there was a robotic server. Whether or not it was ours, it may or may not have been, but people are experiencing them, and that's okay, because I firmly believe that the more robots we have, the more robots we're going to see, and this is going to be a flywheel effect, that once we really start to see and people are comfortable, and operators of businesses are certain that their customers are comfortable with robots being part of the experience, then they're going to continue to adopt them at higher and higher rates.
So I just to like capitalize on some of the stuff I try to tell people when I'm speaking on the podcast, been selling for years, and just thinking that as an investor, it's like you're 100% right. You don't want to be the 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 early majorities or the late majorities. You don't want to be. You kind of want to be in the innovator, early adapter space, more like the innovator space, because you want to catch everything early, and that's when. But you guys already have a product that's already out there and that's already working, already serving people, already in dealership, hospitals, in restaurants, and liquor stores. You know what I mean? You guys are in that phase, but the question becomes how are you guys competing with the other companies out there? Like what is you guys making yourself unique that you guys are getting more restaurants, more hospitals, more?
Yeah, that's a great question. We couple things that we're taking very that we take pride in, right? And one of them is kind of the breadth of our product portfolio, right? And that's, some people have questioned it, but I believe that having a broad array of products that we can bring to the market continues to provide us with the what's the right word, the security that we've got a broad enough product portfolio that our customers can look to us to find something that's going to fit their needs, right? We're focused really, we were born on the AMR, in the AMR space, and that continues to be a big chunk of our product portfolio, but continuing to bring to market new and exciting solutions for our customers is a very strong one. So I would say the product breadth in our portfolio, and then the service that we attach to this, right? There's nothing cooler than seeing a robot working in a restaurant space. I mean, I think it's amazing, right? I mean, maybe that's me.
Actually, I was watching the videos on YouTube and TikTok and your website. It does look cool. It looks like people are actually having fun with them. It's like there's
It's fun.
actual real interaction, because like one of the videos was, oh, what kind of drink do you want? And then somebody says like something a little complicated. It seems like it actually handle the
It's
request.
it is great, whether it's a food and beverage, whether it's a drink, whether it's Adam, making a great cocktail, or a Titan delivering products. I mean, it's great to see how seamlessly they fit into these environments. on the other side of the coin, that there's nothing worse than seeing a robot sitting in the corner not working, right? So part for us, making sure that we're working closely with our customers to keep those robots working and to make sure they're maximizing and able to get the most benefit from them is critically important to our success. And that's something that we focus very heavily on.
Yeah. So question more about like the customer when you guys go out and acquire new customers, acquire new clients. Does when you placement your robot, is it as a demo unit in the new location, and then you guys convert it to like a purchase order once the
That's
customer
yes,
that's how you guys operate?
that's largely how we operate. We're willing to work with our customers across a variety of ways, but what you just outlined is how most of our sales work. Yes.
Is there a plan to like, is there a plan to sell, or are you guys leasing the products?
So what we have started to do, and this has kind of been the big mission over this last 12 months, is really starting to convert all of our sales. We'd like to robot as a service, right? We want to be able to deliver all of our products as a service for a variety of reasons, not least of which is that our customers want it that way, right? That way, the expense of the robot becomes part of an operating expense and not a capital expense. They can really budget for it going out, and then they also have the confidence that we're going to stand by the product and make sure that it's continuing to work over the life of the contract. So for us, that's been a big push. Historically, most of our robots were one-time sales. We would work with people and sell the service kind of as a separate component. But really bundling that going forward, a robot as a service model for these robots, it really allows all of these operators, our customers, to be able to look at our solutions as as part of their ongoing future workforce.
So when you guys building these robots in house? Is it all happening in the US?
Yeah, we use a variety of different sourcing methods. A lot of our AMRs, we use contracted manufacturing for. It's kind of the best of breed that we can find. A lot of that comes from China. We're starting to diversify some of that for a variety of reasons. Our Atom robots, those are assembled in our Nevada warehouse. So we kind of use the best of in any specific case for depending on the robot.
So what's your favorite robot?
What's my favorite robot? Well, I mean, I'm a little partial to Atom, I think, because I'm a coffee drinker and he's he's kind of the headline grabber for sure. So I think you've probably found this when you were looking up Richtech Robotics. More often than not, you come across a picture of Adam doing something or a video of Adam doing something. And that's, very intentional. We think we're very excited for the prospects that Adam has the capability to bring. But then I still have a soft spot in my heart for all of the AMRs, right? Those are kind of the bread and butter, the workforce, if you will. I mean, they don't quite get the same attention and limelight that Adam does, but they're serving their purpose very well.
So, we've been talking about like a lot of B2B business. I mean, is there any segment that you can possibly tell me about a B2C where you guys are going to start selling it to the everyday people? Because at some point, when you guys start dominating and this becomes I'm used to this now. Like I would like this to be in my house at a bigger scale instead of like the robotics that cleans your floor. Like,
isn't it Devontae Adams that has a Taco Bell in his house, according to the commercials, right? Yeah. I mean, we're not there yet. We haven't started down that path. But what we are part of, right, is I'm sure you're aware, we're in this space where robotics and the type of robotic solutions will become more prevalent, and what people choose to do with them. I mean, we're not opposed to selling them to somebody if they want to put an Atom in their kitchen. We'll see. Maybe that will come. At the moment, we're focused on enterprise customers and business to business, and we really think that It's for a variety of reasons, right? We want to get the scale. We want to start to get our robots out there quickly and deployed, and have people become more familiar with them. I think that's one of the reasons why we choose the partners a lot of times that we start to work with. One of which is a company called Ghost Kitchens. Ghost Kitchens Incorporated, who has taken over the leases in a significant number of Walmarts. And franchise their operations. So we've started to partner with them, and have grown our partnership over this past year as we've worked with them, to where we're now going to own and operate some restaurants inside Walmarts. And so for us, that was a very strategic development in that.
That's actually amazing. That's a wonderful news to that. There's a lot of Walmarts out there.
That's been out there, so I'm safe about that.
There's a lot of Walmarts out there.
We discussed that a long time ago, but that's, we're going to start small and see how it goes, and make sure that we're able to really demonstrate how we think a robotic restaurant is run efficiently, and able to do that in these unique locations where there's going to be significant foot traffic, observing what's happening. As you mentioned, there's a lot of excitement that watching a robot work, in real life brings to these places. And we think that's been a really unique partnership, and we're excited about, continuing to develop that one, along with a variety of other new and exciting, partners that we have. So, I think this question touched on, B2C. We're not there yet, but like I said, who knows? Maybe
it looks like you're making a segment, because the foot traffic in Walmart, the Ghost Kitchen, more eyes on your brand is really good for the brand. That's how I see it. With that massive amount of foot traffic, you're going to get people to stop. You're going to get people to want to be able to say, oh, this is different. This is cool. This is nice. I want to see what it does. You're going to get a lot of people to stop and wonder. And that's amazing in itself. But what I would like to know is that if you're kind of moving in a direction where you're getting massive foot traffic, and I can see the kind of like later on in the years, a segment to B2C, what's like the survivability rate of these robots being constantly used? Like, they're constantly being used.
Yeah. So
how long do they last?
So we expect them to last. I mean, when we talk about, look, it's the short answer is it's going to vary across products, right? So, and it vary across their use cases, but we don't see any reason why most of these robots should last any less than 10 years. We have our contracts a lot of times are less than that. When we talk about our AMRs, they're in the 3 to 5 year space. Those are going to be the more heavily used. When you talk about some of the disposable parts, if wheels need to be replaced, things like that might need to be replaced, but that becomes part of the service contract, and why we want that to be the way that we deploy these robots, right? So we're very comfortable with the durability of them. We expect and hope that they're going to be used constantly. There's been a couple test cases that we've had where they're really used, and the use of them was significantly more than we even anticipated, which was a good sign. So we're excited about how our customers will continue to use these, and standing by them and making sure that we're able to service them and keep them running as long as they can.
Man, I love it. I love it. What states are you seeing that are grabbing to this more?
We're across the country. When we look at our deployment map, we've got deployments everywhere. And so it's, I wouldn't necessarily be able to pinpoint a state. I think for me, it's interesting to look at the need state, or the needs in different states, I should say. California is one where that minimum wage keeps going up and up and up, and so that makes robotic solutions that much more appealing to the owners and operators of these businesses. We've seen some very exciting developments in Florida across some different products. So it really follows. It probably. If you're really to pinpoint it and to identify it, it's places that have high population concentrations, right? So large cities, large states, are really where you're seeing a lot more appetite for it. They've got, they kind of have the demand that's easily filled with robotic solutions.
I kind of like hearing that. It's kind of spread out throughout the country. It's not in a concentrated area. Seems like you guys are really marketing it to the point where, there's a great mass of people are hearing about it. Like, what is your guys like marketing strategy behind these? I know I see you guys on TikTok. I know I see you guys on YouTube, but what's your like?
It's, I say, I've said for a while, it's kind of the improv comedy answer, right? Yes, and right. You never say no to anything. It's always yes, and. But I think we're definitely exploring the social media growth. We found through a couple different verticals that there's really kind of they work better through industry trade magazines. That sort of representation. That's kind of where some of those industries really put a lot of credit into the news that they hear from those magazines. So we've tested those and we've seen a lot of success with those. We're going to continue to try to get at them in as many headlines as we can. And then we're going to continue to work with a variety of different sales and marketing strategies. Some of it's proprietary in-house sales team stuff. Some of it will be through some distributors that we've developed some strong relationships with, that have the ability to reach across the country in places that we wouldn't necessarily get to. So we're really trying to press the gas on all of these different opportunities at the same time, and try to, when we see some that are paying dividends a little higher than others, then we'll pursue those a little faster. But it's really, at the moment, it's important that we stay nimble. And we are dynamic in those types of opportunities that we're going to explore.
I have to ask about patents, IPs, algorithms. It's like, are you guys having the licenses? Is that all under your guys' name? Like nobody can kind of step into your unique space.
Yeah, there are a number of patents that our founder Wayne Wong had developed, and they're in some stage of pending or being issued, and he's transferred those all to the company, so they would be the company's property. However, something that I'll say that I've kind of really come to appreciate and understand over these last number of years, dating back before I was part of Richtech Robotics, is that moving quickly and getting your product out there is just as, if not more important than the patents in that portfolio, right? There was a company, years ago in the automation space, right? Food and beverage automation, pizza specifically, had a very robust patent portfolio and raised tons of money because of that, and wasn't able to do anything with it. Right. So when I look at that, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It takes a lot of time and effort and energy. And if you can find something that you think is really worth, dedicating and spending the time to do that, then you should go ahead and absolutely protect it. Right. But what I think is more important is getting the solution working correctly, effectively, and efficiently, and getting it sold and getting it into the market. And that's really kind of something that is at the core of Richtech Robotics, is getting our products out there, becoming first, right? We wanted to go public because we wanted to be the first robotic hospitality company that was traded on an exchange, on a major exchange, right? So, and we did that, and we're going to continue to push, ahead, because I think that's moving fast, moving quickly is the best way to move in this market and in this industry.
Man, I really like that, and that was one of the questions about, are you guys gunning it to be a market leader? How you guys, there's a lot of competition in the robotic space. The biggest one is probably, I honestly, to me, the flashiest one is probably Elon Musk. You know what I mean? That's the flashiest one. I don't know if he's the biggest robotics guy out there moving robotics products, but how are you guys competing against something like that?
I think it's I think the right answer to that is that we're staying in our lane, and we're going to grow organically and quickly, as quickly as we can. Right? We're focused in this hospitality and service sector space. Now, will that open up some opportunities that are kind of tangential to those spaces? Absolutely. Will we explore them? You bet. But the way that we look at it is kind of growing out our product portfolio within each of these categories. The AMR space, really, we look at it kind of as AMRs, cleaning, and then food and beverage production, right? And so wherever those robots could be used and deployed, we'll start to pursue it. We think that being focused in this hospitality service sector space provides us a unique perspective that our robots are out there interacting with people, right? To us, that's the most exciting part of what we're doing, right? When we talk about, when you said, who's the biggest robotics player? Well, I would venture a guess that it may be Amazon, right? When you really think about it, but you or I are never going to see their robots, right? Not yet, anyway, until they replace their drivers with robots. But that's not happening. That's been tested in some different ways, and it seems like that's a few, more than a few years off. But when you and I press buy now on Amazon, right, that package shows up at our doorstep between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. the next morning if we want, right? And that is with the help of a lot of robotics. But we don't see that. You and I never see that. And on the flip side, if you want to go and buy a coffee, talk to our Adam robot, right, and have Adam serve you a coffee, that you can do that, right? Or if you are in a hospital that has our MedBot carrying pharmaceuticals, drugs up from the on-site pharmacy to the nursing station, you'll pass it in the hallway, or maybe share an elevator with it, right? So our robots are those robots that are out in the world actually interacting with people, and for us, that is a really exciting place to be, and I think that's really what differentiates us.
Man, I love it. I love what I'm hearing. You guys are at the stage where you guys are not building your robots or designing. You guys are actually pushing your robots out there. I got two more things. What are some of the accomplishments of 2024 that brought significant value to Richtech Robotics? I know Walmart's one. I know the Walmart strategies one. What's some other ones that brought significant value to in 2024?
It seems like what we really did in 2024, after having gone public at the end of 2023, was really start to flesh out the verticals and grow as a company, right? Which we're still doing, right? And we're still, so a lot of this stuff is not what you would see in the press releases or in the headlines, right? But a lot of it is what we're doing internally, right? We've taken significant steps at our warehouse in Las Vegas to really improve the experience that happens there. Growing out the teams, obviously, growing as quickly as we're trying to grow means the head count continues to grow, and you've got to manage that. And so really it's that, continuing to improve those functions that improve the customer experience for us, right? To make sure that we're able to deliver a consistent, enjoyable customer experience for the people who are going to be buying our robots and deploying our robots, really allows for what I believe is going to be the enduring market presence that we're going to have, because we're able to deliver a powerful, enjoyable customer experience to everybody who purchases a Richtech robotic robot.
Lovely, lovely. As an investor, what should I be looking out for 2025 from you guys?
So this is where I got to be a little bit careful. We are in the middle
Quiet
of
period,
at the moment, so I can't say anything too specific. What I believe is that you should continue to expect to see our product portfolio mature and grow, and I think you'll continue to see the pipelines that we've established continue to be pursued. I think for us, it continues to be number of robots out in the market. As we've talked about, it's converting our sales to robots as a service, continuing to build out that service pipeline. And then continuing to have new, some new and exciting deployments of our Atom and any other food and beverage robots that will be there to follow. I think it's, we're very excited about 2025. We're optimistic by nature. I think, having, robots to look forward to and to get deployed is an exciting place to be. And we look forward to what's to come.
I'm definitely look forward to what's to come for 2025 for you guys. And I would like to do a little recap just to give an understand, like, you guys are at the position where now you guys have robots out there. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And then you guys are at the position where I can say next year you guys are looking to put more robots out there with your logo, your brand, and obviously the Walmart deal is definitely gonna do that for you guys. Get people to see your brand a lot more. And I can say that you guys are on a more of a sales initiative and a marketing build for next year.
That's fair. That's fair. It's to continue to build this pipeline and get robots out there. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're about, right? We want our robots out in the world working.
Great, man. What's one thing you want everybody to know, man? Us retail investors to know, to make us want to I want to stick with this company for the next 15 years. I want to be in. I want you guys to be in our portfolio for a long time.
I think what I'd say is what you just identified there. It's a number of years, right? It's a long game. I think people, by nature, the attention span of everybody, whether you're talking about investing or anything else, gets to be pretty short these days compared to what it used to be, right? And what did Warren Buffett? What's Warren Buffett's favorite quote, right? In the short term, the stock market's a voting machine, and in the long term, it's a weighing machine, right? So hopefully by the weight of our robots that are out in the field over time, people will see that really what the things that we're doing, right, by having a broad portfolio of robotic solutions that are powered by AI and brought into the market, really is the right way to pursue this, and to think about, how that product portfolio continues to grow over time and how we continue to penetrate the verticals that we've already identified and see how that grows organically. I think, to me, is the right strategy, and we're taking care to do things the right way, and we're going to continue to press forward.
Matt, I love this interview. You know what I mean? You got me excited. I definitely love this interview. I feel like a lot of questions were answered, and I feel like I got a great understanding of your product. I got a great understanding where you guys are going, and I got a great understanding on how you guys are going to be moving in the future with your products, and how your mindset towards you guys want to be a market leader in this space. But besides that, man, I'm really excited to see what next year comes for you guys, honestly. Definitely like stuff like this with AI robotics. I think I'll say about 60-70% of people are excited for it. You know what I mean? Except for the conspiracy theories, I think besides that. But I think it's an exciting future, and it's also great to be excited about talking to people who are behind making the future happen, because in 20 years from now, you can say that I was part of this revolution of making stuff like this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate the time and your interest in Richtech Robotics, and I'd love to come back and talk more about it as the year goes on.
I would love to have you back. I would love to have you back next year. That'll be definitely fun. I think tons of people are going to be asking for you to come back. Trust me. But besides that, man, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I know the viewers and the listeners are gonna love it. And man, have a great, wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Kenny. Really appreciate it.